Okay, so we were discussing about the types of systems, classification of the continuous time systems as Seema ma'am. So classification of continuous time systems. We have four types. We are studying only four types: causal, non-causal, static and dynamic system, time variant, time invariant, linear and non-linear. So just started with the causal and non-causal system. So we understood that causal systems are those systems in which the output signal the output of the system depends upon the present and the past value, but it doesn't depends upon the future value of the input. Such systems are known as the causal systems. If the output depends upon the future values of input, so that will be the other category, which is the non-causal types of systems. So an example we have seen an equation y of t equal to x of t minus x of t minus 1. So from the equation itself we can make out y of t is depending upon the current input x of t minus x of t minus 1. If t equal to 0 is taken as the current values, then automatically t minus 1 will be the previous. So it depends upon, the output depends upon the present as well as past values of the input. Okay, so whatever time we substitute for t, then we can see that the output never depends upon the future values of input. So we can tell the system is causal. So we have seen another example where the output depends upon the future values of input. So in this, when I substitute for the second equation, that is y t equal to xt plus 2x 3 minus t, in that when I substitute t as minus 1, we found out that output depends upon the future value of input, that is at t equal to minus 1, y of t depends upon x of 4, that is y of minus 1 depends upon x of 4. X of 4 will be considered as the future values. On the time axis, if we see, minus 1 is your reference or your current reference. If minus 1 is the current reference, then x of 4 or t of 4 lies on the future side. So this kind of systems is a non-causal types of systems. So you have to substitute for different values of t and get the range where the system becomes non-causal and in which range the system is causal in nature. Don't jump to a conclusion after putting one value for t. You have to try for different ranges of t, then come to the conclusion. Okay, so in this simulation diagram, we have seen the causality of the waveforms. Okay. Now the next one is time variant and time invariant system. Okay, system is said to be time invariant if the input output characteristics does not change with time. Okay, the characteristics of the output does not change with time, as well as whether the input signal is delayed, then simultaneously your output signal also should get delayed. Even if I apply different delay in different cases, the output also should get delayed by the same time period, and your characteristics of the output also should not change for different delay period. Okay, so let us take that x of t give rise to an output y of t when I apply x of t into the system. So if your input is delayed by a period of m, then for a time invariant system, your output also will be delayed by y of t minus m. Now, how to check the invariance of the system, whether the system is time variant or time invariant? Okay, so first delay your input signal by m units of time and determine the response for this delay. Let this be y1 of t. Response means it is the output of the system. So delay the input signal, then obtain the output let it be y1 of t. Now next step, what you do, delay the response of the system. Output of the system is passed through a delay block. Then whatever your let that delay be m units, let it be y2 of t. First case, I delayed the input itself, then given to the system. Second case, I am directly giving the input, which I am not delaying, directly I am giving the input, then the output of the system is delayed. So we have got two outputs, y1 of t, y2 of t. If both are equal, if y1 of t and y2 of t are equal, then the system is time invariant. Otherwise, the system is known as the time variance system. Depending upon the delay time, the system characteristics can change. Even the delay between the output signal also may not match with the delay in the input signal. So let us check it with an example. This is what I told is given in the form of a block diagram. First case, what you are going to do, your input is given to the system. Okay, obtain the output. Now that output is delayed by a time period of m. Okay, next case, delay the input itself. Okay, now that delayed input is given to the system, so let it be y2 of t. So if both are same, then I can tell the system is time invariant. So whatever be the delay period, your characteristics of the output of the system will not change. So let us see with the help of an example, yt equal to 2t into x of t. Now first, let us take xt, which is the input of the signal, that is delayed by a time period of m. Okay, so it will become x of t minus m. Now this delayed input is given to the system. Okay, what does the system implies? What is your system here? 2t into x of t. This is your system. The process which is going inside the system is 2t into x of t, where x of t is the input to the system. So to the input, 2t is multiplied. That is happening inside the system here. So when you apply to the system, what happens? It will become, your input signal will become 2t into x of t. So what is your input here? X of t minus m. So it will be 2t into x of t minus m. Getting it? Your system, what it does, it multiply your input signal by 2t. Okay, so in this case, when I delayed the input and given to the system, what is your input now? Instead of x of t, now your input will be x of t minus m. So the system will multiply this input with 2t. So it will be 2t into x of t minus m. So this is the response for delayed input. So when I delay the input and given to the system, the output obtained, that is y1 of t, is 2t into x of t minus m. Now we have to check when I do the next step whether you are getting the same output. Then I can tell the system is time invariant. So second case, what I will do, I will apply the input to the system without delaying. So x of t is directly given to the system. So what does the system does? It will multiply the input with 2t. So directly your output will be 2t into x of t, because input is x of t, and when it is multiplied with 2t, it will be 2 times t into x of t. Now I am going to delay it. Okay, so this is the response for undelayed input. Now I will apply delay to this. So when I delay this, what happens? Wherever t is there, it will be delayed by m units. So it will become 2 into t minus m into x into t minus m. Okay. So whether y1 and y2 are equal, both outputs are equal.
No, ma'am.
No. So y1 of t is not equal to y2 of t. Hence, the system is time variant. The system output will changes with respect to different delays. So I can tell the system is time variant. Okay. So now let us see the graph for this. Okay, instead of 2t, it is tx of t. Graph for this. I applied the input signal is an impulse signal. Okay. So I applied 3 impulse signals. You can see blue, green and red signals. On the left hand side, whatever is given is the input. The first is blue, that is the directly one impulse signal. Now the second one is delayed by a time period of half. Third one is delayed by a time period of 1. So like that I have given 3 impulse signals. I have obtained 3 impulse signals as the input. Now I have given this 3 signals to the system. What is your system? T into x of t. So when I apply to the system, you can see the response on the right hand side window. So the first one, blue line, that is blue signal, which is your impulse signal, which is x of t. When I gave to the system, the response obtained on the right hand side window you can see. When I gave the green input, you can see the on the right hand side the corresponding response of the system, and the third one, the red one, and I gave, you can see. So by looking at this, now can you tell the time variance of the system? You can see the signals, the time shift in the output is maintained. That means between blue and red at the input side, whatever is the delay between blue and the red signal, that same delay is maintained in the output also. Similarly, between green and red, whatever is the delay, the same green and red, there also the delay is maintained same, but the characteristics of the responses of the 3 signals, you can see it is different. You can see the first one, the blue signal output, you can see it is different from the green, and that is entirely different from the red. That means the characteristics of the output is changing for different delays. The shape of the waveforms are not fixed, it is changing, but the time period between them, it is maintained with respect to the input signals. So this is time variant system. For the system is t into x of t. Now let us see another example, yt equal to x of t square. So let us apply the same procedure here also. Delay the input. So when I delay the input and give to the system, so it will be x of t minus m square, delaying the input and given to the system. It will be x of t minus m square. Let us take it as y1 of t. Now without delaying and giving to the system, that is xt square is directly, x of t is directly given to the system, you will obtain x of t square. Then after that I will delay the output. So the same thing, x of t minus m whole square. So in this case, y1 of t is equal to y2 of t. So I can tell the system is time invariant. Whatever be the delay period of the input signal, whatever be the delay in the input signal, your system output or the system response characteristics also is not changing, as well as your the delay in the input will be reflected in the output also. The same delay will be reflected in the output also. Okay, are you able to follow this? Any doubt? Okay, so let us move to the next. So the same thing what we have observed in the equations plotted in the form of waveforms. So we have given again here also the reference is the input signals are impulse signals, 3 impulse signals with 3 delays. The first one is as it is without delay. The second one t minus half. Third one is t minus 1. When I gave such 3 signals to the system, we can observe the output of the system. So the output of the system, it is a normalized waveform. So that is why you can see the input signal and the output signal are approximately same. Okay. So the delay between the signals, the delay between the response of the signals is also same. That is between blue and green, whatever is the delay, the same delay is there on the output also. Between red and green signals, the same delay period is there in the output signals also. As well as you can see for the different delays, the characteristics of the waveforms are not changing. The shape of the waveforms are also fixed. So the system is time invariant. Now another system just directly plotted is x of 2t. This is time variant. So can you tell what is the variations happening in the response here by looking at the waveforms? Can anyone suggest what is, tell me what is the, how the system became time variant by looking at the waveforms? Can you tell?
Waveform is compressed.
Sorry? Can you repeat?
Waveform is compressed.
The delay between the waveforms are not proper, because whatever be the delay happening in the first and the second waveforms, you can see the input side, the output side, the same delay is not maintained. So the delay is not happening as per the input signals, but the characteristics of the waveform is same. So this case also the system is time variant. Okay. Now let us go to the next category, that is memory system and memory less system, or I can tell the memory less system as static and the memory system as dynamic. Okay, so a static system is memory less systems. Such systems will not have any storage devices. For example, if I take a purely resistive circuit, so there the resistance cannot save the charge. That means when I switch off the power supply for the system, then the current through the resistance also will decay immediately as and when I switch off the EMF for the circuit. Okay, so such a circuit is a memory less system or a static system. So if I write the equation y of n equal to x of n, it implies, okay, this I written in the form of discrete equation. So it implies at n equal to 0, your output y of 0 depends upon your current values of input. Okay, it doesn't depends upon the future values or past values of the input. Okay, so such systems cannot save any store any charges in them. Resistive circuit, purely resistive circuit are memory less system. So let us take another system which contains any inductor or capacitance. Automatically when an inductor and capacitor comes into picture, it can store charges. So such systems can be considered as a dynamic system or the system which contains memory. Okay, so it has the storage devices. So inductor and capacitor are the storage devices. So when its output depends upon the past values and the future values of the input signals. So such systems are dynamic systems. So I have written the current equation for an inductive circuit. So in the form of a discrete equations, I have written y of n equal to x of n plus x of n minus 1. So here, by looking at the equation itself, we can make out that your current values of output depends upon current values of input as well as past values of the input. So if I have to obtain the past or the future values of the input, the system should possess the memory. Now we have linear and non-linear types of system. Now, what do you mean by a linear system or non-linear systems? So, a system is said to be linear if it obeys the principle of superposition as well as the homogeneity. Okay, so let us see what you mean by the superposition principle in the signals and systems. So superposition implies here the response of a system to a weighted sum of the signals, response of the system to a weighted sum of signals is equal to the corresponding weighted sum of responses to each of the individual input signals separately. So what we does in normal superposition theorem, we give the signals separately and we will observe the response of the system. Okay, and when we add together all these, it should be equal to the system output when all the EMF sources are present. Okay, the same thing here also. So in the form of equations, if I see a system H is said to be linear if H is a system. Okay, so H into H of A1 x1 of t plus A2 x2 of t. So this is the weighted sum. Okay, so this is the weighted sum of two signals. Weight in the sense A1 into x1 of t. A1 is known as the weight of the signal. Okay, x1 of t is one signal, x2 of t is another signal. So corresponding weight of the signal x1 is A1 and corresponding weight of the signal x2 is A2. That is the constant which is multiplied or the amplitude of that signal. So that amplitude is known as the weight. So here A1 x1 of t plus A2 x2 of t, that is the sum of the weighted sum of the signals. Okay, so when this sum is applied to the system, which is your system, H is your system, that should be equal to, on the right hand side, you are applying to the system individually. We are not summing and giving to the system. Instead of that, we are giving the signals individually. That is A1 into H of x1 of t, A2 into H of x2 of t. We are giving to the system. The H is your system. To that I am giving the signals x1 of t separately, then x2 of t separately, then adding it. Okay, so this should be equal. When these two cases are equal, when I am adding the signals and giving to the system, that should be equal to individually given to the system and added. Okay, so again in the form of block diagram I can show here. First I am giving x1 to the system, obtaining the output y1 of t. Next, I am giving x2 of t individually to the system, obtaining the output y2 of t. Then I am adding it, y1 of t plus y2 of t. This should be equal to, let us see the other path. We are adding the signals x1 of t and x2 of t. Then that is given to the system. Okay, so let it be yt. So if both these are equal, then I can tell one condition of the linearity is satisfied. The another condition is the law of homogeneity, that is whether I am applying the amplitude or the weight to the signal later or initial, it doesn't matter, both should be equal. That is xt is given to the system, obtain the output, then I am applying the weight to the signal, that is k is the weight of the signal, or I apply the weight to the signal first, then apply to the system. In whatever be the way, both should be equal. So that is known as law of homogeneity. If both are satisfied, then the system is called linear. Now let us see the procedure to test the linearity. So let x1 of t and x2 of t be the two signals, and these signals are applied to the system H. So when I applied the signals individually to the system, I obtained the outputs y1 of t and y2 of t. These are the response of the system to the signals individually. Okay. Now consider a signal x3 of t, which is the weighted sum of the signals, which is a1 x1 of t plus a2 of x2 of t is the signal x3. Now this signal is applied to the system. The weighted signals, weighted sum of signals is applied to the system. Let the response be y3 of t at this case. Now, if y3 of t is equal to individual sum of signals, that is a1 y1 of t plus a2 y2 of t, then the system is linear. Otherwise, the system is non-linear in nature. Okay. Let us take an example and observe the linearity. So test the system for linearity. Y of t equal to tx of t. Okay. So what is the first procedure? Let h be the system operating on x of t to produce y of t. Okay, what is your system h? Tx of t. Your input is multiplied with t. Your input signal x of t is multiplied by t. That is your system h. Okay, so let us consider h be the name of that system to produce y of t from the input signal x of t. So h of x of t. This I will show it like this. So h of x of t, when the signal is applied to the system h, you will obtain y of t. So what it implies? It is the tx of t. That is the what is happening inside the system. Now let us take the signals individually. Let y1 of t is equal to y1 of t is the response of the system to individual signal x1 of t. So y1 of t is equal to h into x1 of t, which is equal to t into x1 of t. Now what is y2 of t? It is the response of the system to the individual signal x2 of t. So it is t x2 of t. Now what is y3 of t? It is the response of the system to the signal x3 of t. Okay, but we have defined already what is x3. It is the weighted sum of signals x1 and x2. Okay, so let us substitute it here. That is x3 of t is what? a1 x1 of t and a2 x2 of t. Substitute of x3 in this equation. So when you substitute for x3 in the equation y3, you will obtain t will be kept outside that. Then substitute for x3. Then you take the t inside. Okay, open the bracket. So t a1 x1 t into plus ta2 x2. Interchange the position. You can do that by homogeneity. So a1 into tx1 of t plus a2 into tx2 of t. So this I can rewrite it as y3 of t is equal to a1 y1 of t. What is tx1 of t? We already written it as y1 of t, and tx2 of t we already written it as y2 of t. So y3 of t is equal to a1 y1 of t plus a2 y2 of t. So this is the condition which is to be satisfied for the linearity. So that is y3 of t should be a1 y1 of t plus a2 y2 of t. So the system is linear in nature. I will show it once again. Your system is yt equal to t into x of t. And what you are going to do, you are going to apply three signals to this system. Three input signal, one is x1 of t, another is x2 of t, third one is x3 of t, where x3 of t is the weighted sum of signals x1 and x2. Okay, like that you are going to apply three signals to the system. So first let me apply the first signal, that is x1 of t to the system. So when I applied the signal x1, what you obtained, let us denote it as y1, and we obtained it is t into x1 of t. Now when I applied the signal x2 to the system, you obtain t into x2 of t. Okay. When I applied the signal x3, you obtained t into x3, but x3 is the weighted sum of signals. So let us substitute that for x3. When I substitute for x3, you obtained like this, open the bracket, then interchange the position so that you can substitute for t x1 of t as y1 and t x2 of t as y2. So finally you are satisfying the condition for linearity, that is y3 of t should be equal to a1 y1 of t plus a2 y2 of t. So the system is linear in nature. Let us take another example. Yt is equal to x square of t. Okay. Same procedure will be applied here. Let h be the system to produce y of t. What is your system here? X square of t. So your system is x square of t. Now let the first signal x1 of t is applied. So you will get x1 square of t. When I applied the second signal x2, I obtained x2 square. Then when I applied the third signal x3, you will get x3 square. Now what is x3? You already know. It is the weighted sum of signals a1 x1 plus a2 x2. Now substitute for x3 in the equation. When you substitute for x3, that is a1 x1 plus a2 x2 whole square. If you open the bracket, you will get a square plus b square plus 2a1 a2. But in this I can see here y3 of t is not equal to a1 y1 of t plus a2 y2 of t. We cannot. So when you substitute here, it is becoming a1 square y1 of t plus a2 square
Hello, ma'am.
y2 of t. Yes.
Ma'am, attendance is posted.
Okay.
Student can fill the attendance.
Yes. All of you can fill the attendance. Okay, so let us come back. So here y3 of t is not equal to a1 y1 of t plus a2 y2 of t. So in this form I am not getting y3 of t. When I even if I substitute here, you can see it is a1 square y1 of t plus a2 square y2 of t. Okay, so so I am not getting this in this format. Y3 of t is not equal to a1 y1 of t plus a2 y2 of t. So I can tell the system is non-linear in nature. Okay. So that is all about the linearity of your system. Now the last system is to check whether the system is stable or unstable. Okay. So a system is said to be stable if for a bounded input signal you are obtaining a bounded output. Okay, for a bounded input signal you are obtaining a bounded output. So if I obtain a bounded output, then I can tell the system is bounded input, bounded output stable. Or the condition is to check the stability of the system is minus infinity to infinity, h of t dt should be less than infinity. The response of the system should be less than infinity, where h of t is the impulse response of the system. Let us take an example here. H of t equal to 2 plus e raised to minus 3t u of t. So for the system to be stable, what is the condition to be satisfied? Minus infinity to infinity, h of t dt should be less than infinity. So when I apply the signal h of t here in this equation, when it has a u of t, what is u of t? It is the positive sided step signal. Okay, so when any signal is multiplied with a positive sided step signal, so the entire signal will become right hand sided signal. So instead of minus infinity to infinity, now your signal will become on a right hand side signal, that is 0 to infinity, that is it will become 2 plus e raised to minus 3t dt. So apply this, integrate it. So when you integrate it, you are getting an infinite value for that. So when I applied the condition in this equation, we found out that your output is becoming infinite. It is, you are not getting a bounded output. Even though if you give a bounded input signal, the output is not bounded. It is going to infinity. So the system is unstable in nature. Okay. So this much only for today. So we will see more examples in the next class, and this whatever I have shown the types of systems, this questions are coming like checking the type of the system. Not individually the questions are asked, sometimes it is asked together, that is you have to, you will be given a equation or you will be given a system, you have to check the causality, you have to check the invariance of the system, you have to check the stability of the system. So many things has to be checked on a particular system. So normally the questions will be like that. Okay, so all the checking of all the systems are important. You have to study all the conditions to check the first case. What is the first system? The first system is, let us take it again. The first system is causal or non-causal system, whether it depends upon the future value. If it depends upon the future values of the input, then the system will become non-causal in nature. The second system is static and the dynamic system, memoryless system and memory systems. So whether if the output depends only on the current value of input, then such system is static. If it depends upon the future or the past value of input, such system is dynamic or memory system. Third is the time variant and time invariant. So if the different inputs with different delays are applied, whether it is going to reflect on the output of the system, whether it affects the characteristics of the waveforms or whether the time delay in the waveforms are affected. Accordingly, you can classify it as time variant and time invariant. If it doesn't affect, the delay in the signal doesn't affect the characteristics, time delay in the output signal, then it is known as time invariant. If it affects, then it is known as time variant system. Then we have the linear and the non-linear system. We are applying the principle of superposition and law of homogeneity and checking whether for the weighted sum of signals and individual signals are applied. If the responses are both are equal, then I can say the system is linear, otherwise it is non-linear. And the last one is the stability of the system. So the response of the system should be bounded for any input signals. If it is becoming infinite, then the system is not stable in nature. So for that, there is a condition to be checked: minus infinity to infinity, h of t dt should be less than infinity. Okay. So these are the classifications. This much only for today. Let me download the attendance from the timestamp, then only you should leave. Let me download the timestamp attendance.